Welcome to the Dog Training Audio Experience Podcast. This episode's going to be a little bit different because I'm reporting live from my new and improved reading nook in our bedroom. The dogs are up here with me. I want to keep this super casual. I'm going to test this out a little less formal than usual. And the reason why I'm coming on like this is because right now, when I'm recording this, it is 8:30 p.m. and we leave at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning for a big family vacation. It will be the first time in a very, 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 very long time, many years, that we leave Jade alone for that length of time because we're going away for almost a week. And it'll be the very first time for my little Chihuahua mix, Freddie, who is extremely attached to me. And so I wanted to share with you some of the tips and tricks and things I considered and things I did to prep our dogs for our vacation tomorrow and for the duration of how long we're going to be gone. So here it is, guys. A couple things. I'm going off the cuff. So the first thing I sat down to think about a couple of weeks ago was speaking to my veterinarian about the dogs and if they needed some anti-anxiety medication while we were gone. Now, I normally don't give Jade or Freddie any anti-anxiety medication for regular use. Freddie has gotten it for a couple of vet visits where he had to get some procedures done. But outside of that, they really haven't had any of that. So, because I know my dog's behavior and because I am a certified dog trainer, in case you didn't know, I'm very aware of their behavior and very aware of the things they might need while we're gone for that long. So I did talk to our vet and I decided that it would be best for them to go on a little bit microdose, if you will, of anti-anxiety meds just once a day for the daytime. That is when they're most active. That is when I'm usually with them the most. And so I just want to make sure that they're as relaxed and as least amount of anxiety that I can have for them is my goal. So sometimes medication can be looked at as kind of taboo. Not for me, not in this house. And I definitely want to make sure that they are the most comfortable that they could possibly be. So if you are going away on a vacation and you want to check in, I highly recommend you check in with your vet. You let them know what's going on and you talk to them about your options. All right, so I'm going to minimize my screen because I'm watching. Oh, I can't minimize Zoom when you're recording. Okay, never mind. So I'll just stare at myself. All right. So for anyone watching, our podcast is on YouTube as well. So if you want to watch me awkwardly sit in this chair in the corner and go through this, what some may say, ridiculous binder of how to take care of our fur babies. It even has a cover page. How to take care of our fur babies, Jade and Freddie, dog sitting manual. All right. So other than talking to my vet, the next step was hiring a respected, trusted pet sitter. So if you are, I don't care if you're going away in a year, this is a good time to build a rapport with a local pet sitter that you can learn about. They can learn about your dogs. You can do some run throughs. So I've had our pet sitter come twice, even though she's come before. We haven't used her in a really long time. The dogs aren't super, super familiar with her. And this is the first time she's going to be doing overnights with our dogs. So I have paid her for a couple of visits to come over while I am home, while we are here, to play with the dogs, to hang out in the yard, to sit on the couch with us, so that the dogs are familiar with her leading up to this vacation and our absence of everybody that they know. So that's another thing I would recommend. Talk to your vet, get a good pet sitter, interview a bunch of them, hire them for mock kind of run through pet sitting visits. If your dogs have any issues at all, luckily mine don't with new people or people coming in the home, but if you are not sure about that with your dog, I highly recommend, after you build a rapport with somebody while you're home, also do a run through or two of you being out of the home as if you were away and you had already left, and have the person enter and just make sure that everything is going smoothly. You do not want to call that you're from your pet sitter that there's an issue with your dog, or the dog's acting aggressive or weird or reactive or nervous while you're in the Bahamas or whatever. So do all those run throughs beforehand. Now, this binder is my pride and joy right now. I'm very proud of it. I am a physical media person as well. I know we're all in the digital age, but I love having a physical binder. I'm pretty much Monica Geller from Friends, let's be honest, okay? I have my binder here, my color tabs, and I want to walk through with you what I have in this binder. Now, the good thing about this binder is obviously I have it saved on my computer and I can update it based on the visits, if the next vacation we have, and so forth. But the good thing about this is if anybody walked into the house, if we had an emergency and somebody that I didn't hire originally had to come in, or a neighbor or friend or whatever, this binder is going to help them care for our dogs. So it is physically here. I also sent a digital PDF copy to our pet sitter, so she also has it on her email as well. But here's what's in it. So first section is visit routines. So I wrote out pretty much an itinerary. This is, yes, I'm anal and type A, and I would like to make sure I have all of the dates and times correct that the pet sitter is going to arrive here. But aside from that, it's also good that your pet sitter signs off on yes to these dates and these times and this duration of visit per visit or what have you. So just make sure that you have it all written out and make sure that they look through it and confirm with you that those dates and those arrival times and the sleepover times, that all of that is accurate, rather than just going back and forth on text and it can get lost in translation. So I have basically a daily itinerary of the dates and times. Then I have in the next section, dog and visit tips. So I have one page that goes over their morning routine of their let outs, their potty habits, what to expect outside. Another page on their breakfast, feeding, and their medication routine. I have everything listed for their medication specifically, so the pet sitter is aware of that. Their midday routine. This is basically their fun time to run and play in the yard or play inside, so I have that. And then we have our dinner time routine and their feeding schedule and med schedule for the evening if needed. And then we have our late night, overnight routine. So aside from obviously things with the dogs that we need, the other thing that we're going to have is stuff for the house. So I also have reminders of, please turn off all the TVs, make sure all the blinds are closed, all the outdoor lights are on, what the dog's sleeping arrangements are, things like that. The next section is all of our house information. So this is, kind of overall visit tips, but as well, if there's an accident, again, my dogs normally don't have any accidents, but you never know. You go away, they get a little funky, they might be stressed. So have whatever cleaner, vacuum, carpet cleaner, spot cleaner, any stuff like that that you might need, have it out for them or let them know where it is. So I have accident cleanup. I have a section on the dog behavior, little quirks about Jade and Freddie. We all have our quirks, unless that's just me. I have plenty of quirks. So I have that listed as well. Then I have all the house information. So the Wi-Fi password, how to utilize the TVs. We have 14 friggin' remotes down there. It's nice if someone knows how to use it. Little quirks about that our fridge, this little fun fact about our home. Our fridge, it's new. It's very nice. It was new when we got the house, but it randomly just spits out ice cubes. And if you're not aware of that, it can sound like a very strange, it can sound like a ghost is in the kitchen dropping something. So I also let her know about that. The, codes for your house, security codes, our security system, thermostat, and then just some miscellaneous where our breaker box is. I also highly recommend if you have landscapers or anybody that comes to, you have a cleaning service of some kind, landscaping, let your pet sitter know that. I've done pet sitting early on back in the day, and I've had people pull up and I was not aware that family or friends was going to have access to the house, and there I am in the house, and it can be very scary. So make sure your pet sitter is aware of anyone who's going to have access to your home during your stay away, during your vacation. The next section I have in here is emergency contact information. So again, I am very thorough. I say thorough because we just watched The Big Lebowski the other night. Anyway, so in case of emergency, I have obviously their main veterinarian. I have the name of the veterinarian, the telephone number, and I also have their hours of operation, because if it is on a weekend, our vet is closed on the weekends because we have a mobile vet right now. So then I have a backup vet office that is literally like 2 miles away from our home, a couple minutes, and their hours of operation. And then I have 2 emergency veterinary hospitals, one that's open 24 hours and one that's open pretty much from very early in the morning till very late at night. Then obviously I have our local friends that they can call if there is something going on, an emergency. I have all the information about where we are staying, the name of our resort, the telephone number, the address. I have all of myself, my husband, my family's personal cell phones in case they have to reach us there. And then as well, I gave them our 2 immediate neighbors' phone numbers just in case. And then I added in, after all of this was done, I had to update it, house emergency numbers. So our HVAC provider, pest control, wildlife management, our electrician, and our plumber. God forbid something bursts, something happens. Excuse me, they can call right there and be able to service your home. And then lastly, I have our flight information. So that way, our pet sitter's aware of when we're arriving, when we're coming back. And then I have a little folder in the front with some cash in it, some emergency cash or petty cash, get a pizza, whatever. And that is our entire binder. If you feel like something should be added, please contact me on social media. I'd love to know if you've ever done this type of thing for going away, a little manual for your dogs. I'd love to know if I missed something. I'd be shocked because I'm so annoying with making these binders. And I've had a really good time with it. I also made a family Disney binder where I put the human version of all of this, kind of what to pack, a packing list, a checklist, your carry-on stuff, what's allowed, so that my family was aware of all of that information. This is our first big family vacation. And I'm very excited, but traveling, leaving my dogs, doing all that, I'm a little nervous, I guess, or anxious about getting all this prepared. I'm sure once we're there, I'll feel a lot better. But it's a big thing for us, and leaving the dogs always makes me a little bit weird. So something else I've done as well is tonight, before I hopped on this podcast, I brought the dogs for an hour walk at their favorite park that we normally go to, and I make sure that we get the dogs out the day or two before we leave for an extended period of time. I just want to get as much energy out before we go, because I don't have the pet, again, totally your preference, but I don't have the pet sitter bring them to a park or walk them. Our neighborhood is great, but just not very conducive to walking our 2 dogs. I just don't really love it. And again, my style of walking them is very different. So I just say, hey, play with them in our yard. There's plenty to do in our yard. We have plenty of toys and stuff for them. So some other things I did aside from the binder was I also bought the dogs a bunch of new stuff. So I made sure we were stocked up on their favorite high value rewards and treats and chews. So I bought some freeze-dried raw stuff from Stella and Chewy's. I stocked up on all of their Honest Kitchen, Parmesan pecks and liver chips and things like that they love. I also have like a wild card, the freeze-dried minnows. They're literally little fish, like little minnows from, I think it's Vital Essentials or Vita Essentials for dogs. So I bought a bunch of high value rewards to make sure that the pet sitter was not in need of any of that. I have set up basically took over a hutch in our home took down all the picture frames, and I set all the dog stuff on there. I want to make it as easy as possible for our pet sitter who's going to be here for several days in a row. So I don't want her having to look through everything and find stuff. So I put everything out on this table. I put extra dog food, extra treats, extra toys, some new toys that I know they're going to be excited about. And yeah, I just have everything there. That way, the pet sitter is not spending any of that visit time looking for shit, trying to figure things out where stuff is. I want her to spend the most time with the dogs possible and make it as easy for her as possible. And as an extra bonus, I really love our pet sitter. She's also a friend, and I just really appreciate her staying. So I also put together a snack basket for her with all different types of snacks. I have a candy bowl with all different types of candy for her. And I also have kind of a personal care, toiletries, bath products, also basket in our bathroom, and some fresh guest towels, fresh guest sheets and linens, all that as well. So I basically left the home like an Airbnb style for her. And I just want to make sure she's comfortable. She's caring for, other than my human family, the two other members of my family that I care so much about. So I wanted to just do this little impromptu, quick, chatty reading nook location for the podcast. I think moving forward too, I'm going to do some more podcasts in the nook in this way, me giving you some extra tips. I love having my guests on, and I do plan on having more guests on in the coming months. I already have a sheet of people that I have to get scheduled in when we get back from vacation, but I also want to just be able to make it easy. And so I set up this corner to read and to hang out and to, answer emails sometimes, just have another area. But I think this might be my new podcast location. And this way I can just jump in the chair, jump on the mic, give you some tips, give you some stuff, and then get off, rather than making it a huge production every time. Not that it's a huge production, but it's a whole thing a little bit, having to schedule all that. So I'm still going to do that, and I love doing that. But I also love just blabbing on here and giving you hopefully some gems. So that's basically everything. I also want to say, I did think of this as well. I made sure that their food, their treats kind of stayed all the same. I don't want to try some new large chews or new food, or a new treat's fine, I guess, depending on the dog, but I didn't want to give them something completely new and then God forbid they have a bad reaction, they have a bad gut. So I want to kind of keep their routine as close to what they're used to as they are. So don't go outside of your normal structure too much. So with that, I hope this helps you if you plan on going on a vacation soon, or even if you're just going away a night or two. I think some of this will be really helpful. It's definitely something I've had to do for the first time at this level, and I've learned a lot along the way here. And of course, I added more to my to-do list by saying, I also need to record and post a podcast. So I think it's time for me to shower and make sure I'm packed and get ready to leave tomorrow morning. And as always, treat yourself and treat your dogs. I'll talk to you next time.